North Korea will send athletes and cheerleaders to next month's Winter Olympics in South Korea, after the two countries held their first official talks for more than 2 years. The North Korean party will also include performing artists and journalists, South Korea's Vice Unification Minister, Chu Ha-sung, said after the first session of talks ended on Tuesday. Chu added that South Korea had proposed that the two Koreas march together during the opening and closing ceremonies at the Pyeongchang Games, which open on February 9. The North may have found a way to make a nuclear warhead small enough to put on a missile, but firing one at the South is likely to provoke retaliation in kind, which would end the regime. Pyongyang has enough conventional artillery to do significant damage to Seoul, but the quality of its gunners and munitions is dubious, and the same problem retaliation from the South and its allies remains. In the event of a non-nuclear attack, Seoul's residents would act on years of experience of civil defense drills, and rush to the bomb shelters dotted around the city, increasing their chances of survival. The agreement represents a cautious diplomatic breakthrough after months of rising tensions over Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. The 5-member North Korean delegation traveled to the border in a motorcade and then walked across the military demarcation line into the southern side of the truce village of Pamuyam at around 9:30 a.m. local time. The village straddles the demilitarized zone, DMZ, the heavily armed border that has separated the two Koreas for more than 6 decades. As the two sides sat down for their first face-to-face talks since December 2015, North Korean media hit back at Donald Trump's claim that his tough stance against Pyongyang had facilitated the Olympic negotiations. The Rodok-Simu, the newspaper of the ruling Workers' Party, said Trump's claim that sanctions and pressure on the regime had brought him diplomatic success during his first year in the White House was ridiculous sophism. Media reports said Tuesday's meeting was adjourned at 12:20 p.m. local time, after more than 2 hours of discussions, and would resume later in the afternoon. Reuters reported that South Korean negotiators had also proposed military talks designed to ease tensions on the peninsula and reduce the chances of a conflict breaking out due to an accident or miscalculation. Discussions have focused on North Korean participation in the Pyeongchang Winter Games, but are also thought to have included other inter-Korean issues such as the resumption of reunions between family members who were separated at the end of the 1950–53 Korean War. South Korea has suggested holding reunions during the Lunar New Year holidays next month, according to media reports. Today, North and South Korea will engage in talks in a serious and sincere stance, said Ri Sung-kwo, chairman of the North's Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of the Fatherland and head of the country's delegation ahead of the talks. They will go well.